Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. The Yankees sweep the Kansas City Royals in their first matchup against that team since the LDS last year. And it's kind of becoming like a thing where the Yankees just own the Royals. They said they put out, I don't think they put out a graphic, but they mentioned on the telecast tonight, I think they beat the Royals in 18 of their last 20 series against them. So it's like, you know, it's the Twins and it's the Royals after that. But the Yankees were able to sweep the Royals. They missed the lefty Cole Reagans, so they were able to take care of Lugo. They were able to take care of Mike Wacha and Bubic, who pitched tonight. All three of them pitched, and the Yankees did their job. They swept back in first place at 11-7, which is a 99-win pace at the moment. Things are good in the American League East. Boston's in shambles. You look across town in Queens, and Soto's crying, and he's striking out, going 0 for 5 with a double play, striking out in big spots late in the game. So I'm enjoying life. The Mets are losing again. The Yankees are winning again. Boston's losing big time. They got blown the frig out the other day. So the vibes were better this past weekend. And before we do dive into the show, obviously you could probably tell by now, the audio quality on this episode is not going to be great because I just spent 10 minutes screaming at the top of my lungs at some technology because we're having mic issues. So going to have to use the computer audio for this one. I don't know why I even have this mic here. It's just a comfort thing. But this piece of shit right here in front of me is not working. So I'm not going to waste any more time on that because it's late here and I've got to get up very early. So I want to get this episode in. So I decided to ditch the mic and let's just use computer audio. So if the audio is shitty, I apologize. But the Yankees sweep the Royals in 3 games in the Bronx. And the first game of the series, they won 4-1. It was Carrasco against the righty Seth Lugo. Before we even dive into this, can I just say the Yes put out a graphic of Seth Lugo during his outing. And they mentioned that he throws a lot of pitches last year. I remember that being a conversation. They talked about it again this start. It really bothers me how they're trying to make this deep pitch mix seem more than what it is. Like this whole, I don't want to sound like an old man, but we're trying to act like we're in this new age where there's so many different pitches mean so many. They showed a graphic of Lugo's 10 pitch mix. The man doesn't throw 10 different pitches. He throws about 4, maybe 5, probably 4 different pitches that he has different variations with, right? I mean, in this graphic, they were trying to say that he throws a curve, a slurve, a sweeper, a slider, and a slow curve. I swear to God, they put slow curve in there. They had splitter and changeup. I mean, what's really the difference between his? But it was like, yeah, it's like just put four seam, whatever else he throws, two seam, and then, curve, slider, and then changeup. Like it was insane. And I hate that we're trying to be so specific and, again, trying to act all modern with pitch mix. It was so unnecessary. It just bothered me, and it always does every time they bring up Lugo. Anyways, the Yankees were able to, in this game, score 4 runs on 9 hits. 5 extra base hits. Let me go to the graphic here. 2 walks. About to sneeze again. 6 strikeouts, and they were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Against Lugo, they scored 4 runs in the 6 2/3 that he pitched. Bottom of the 4th inning, the Yanks were down 1-0. Jazz Chisholm hits a solo shot to center field to tie the game at 1. And then you get to the bottom of the 5th inning. That's where the Yankees had 3 solo shots in the frame. Grisham went deep. Rice went deep. Austin Wells went deep. All 3 of them makes it 4-1 Yankees. The Kansas City bullpen came in after that. No runs in an inning and a third. But Wells goes 1 for 4 with the homer. Rice goes 1 for 3 with the home run and a walk. Grisham continues to hit the ball this year, man. 1 for 3, another homer for him. Jumped on a fastball. He's been jumping first pitch more. He's a lot more aggressive in the zone this year. That was something that he wasn't last year, and it's paying off for him. Jazz Chisholm 1 for 4 with the home run that he hit. Goldie went 2 for 4 with a double. Judge went 2 for 4 in this game, and Cabrera goes 1 for 3. So the Yankees win all 4 runs coming the home run. Obviously, after this game, a lot of old men on Twitter, too many home runs, this and that. Home runs are good. Home runs are not bad. It's a silly narrative. This is how the Yankees are built. I get the concern, but this is how they're built. When they win, it's going to be because they're hitting homers. And when they lose, it's usually because they're not hitting enough homers. They're building their team for the modern game. They are 4th in the majors in terms of runs scored via the home run. So the percentage of runs you score by a home run, they're 4th. 31% of the runs they score come off a home run if you divide their, runs and home runs. But yeah, like the Yankees spent years. I mean, we were all starving for this organization to build their team around the ballpark that they're in. And they've finally done that, with a ton of lefties and power hitters, and it's yielding a ton of home runs. They're first or maybe second in home runs this year behind the Dodgers, who've played 2 or 3 more games than them. So it's work. It's worked. It's yielding a lot of home runs at Yankee Stadium this year. They're hitting a ton at Yankee Stadium. They've, put these torpedo bats into play now, where that's helping guys barrel the ball more. And despite having all these lefties, at least so far, again, we're 18 games in, they are hitting left-handed pitching. They're raking against left-handed pitching. So it's a narrative I understand. It's a narrative I've had gripes with in the past, this whole style, but I've kind of backed off of it this year, because it's just, this is how it is now. This is how the major leagues are. This is how the best teams usually win. They hit bombs. And if you want a silver lining, the Yankees are, I think they're top 5, or if not, they're right outside the top 5 in batting average. So it's not like they're not getting hits either. If they were only hitting home runs, they wouldn't be that high in average. But they're an elite offense so far to start the season, and I'm not going to complain about that. I just score runs. That's all I want. Score runs, and they're doing that. In this game, Carlos Carrasco pitches 5 good innings. 1 run, 1 home run. That was the only hit he allowed. It was a solo home run. Struck out 4, walked 2, threw 79 pitches, got the win. Tough first inning with a couple of walks, but he got it together, and he finished 5 strong, gave the Yankees everything they asked for there. And again, he was successful in this start because he stayed away from his fastball. He was 65% off speed in this game. The slider worked very well to the Royals righties going away. He was able to neutralize the Royals lefty with the curveball. I'm still on the game 1 graphic here. That's because, no, we are on game 1. I don't know why I thought we weren't. I thought he neutralized the Royals lefties with his curve and split change. Got a lot of whiffs with the split change up, and he did a nice job just staying on the edges, staying away from the heart of the plate, and he was able to get the Royals to expand the zone. Did he run into some luck? Of course. There were some hard hit balls, especially off the slider. It's terrifying watching him come inside because his stuff is not great. Pascantino had a deep fly out to the corner where Judge caught it. Salvi Perez had a long fly out to Dominguez, where he jumped and made that play. Garcia in India hit a couple of sharp ground ball outs to Cabrera. So there were some moments. Top of the 3rd inning, 10-pitch battle with 2 outs to Bobby Witt Jr. Ends up hanging a slider to him. Witt hits the solo home run to put the Royals up 1-0. But outside of that, Carrasco was perfect. So I thought he gave the Yankees everything they needed from him. So good job to Carrasco. And then the bullpen took over in the final 4 innings. Fernando Cruz was dominant. We will talk about him in this show. Tim Hill, 2 up, 2 down in the 7th. He gets Massey to ground out on a sinker. And then he gets Garcia to strike out looking on a sinker that clips the edge, the outer edge of the plate. So he pitches 2/3 of an inning. No runs, no base runners, a strikeout. Luke Weaver gets the top of the 8th. 1 inning, no run, 1 walk. And then Devin Williams, still not sharp in this game, puts 2 on with 1 out. Witt with a leadoff base hit on the screwball. Salvi with a 1-out walk. He spammed the screwball, but he didn't really have a feel for it. And then Massey pops it up for a 2nd out. And then that's when Garcia lines it out to Bellinger to end the game. So his final line, 1 inning, 2 base runners, no runs, no strikeouts, but he gets the save. And that was it for game 1 of the series on Monday. Tuesday, the Yankees won 4-2. This was Max Fried going up against Michael Wacha. It was Jackie Robinson Day, so it was nice to see all the 42s out there. Gonna order me one of them hats. I don't know if they sell the Jackie Robinson jerseys with the Dodger 42 on the back, but definitely want to get the Brooklyn hat. I like those. I hate getting Dodger gear, but like the Brooklyn, it's like, as a baseball fan, it's really, it's a neat hat. But the Yankee bats, Fried throws another gem. We'll talk about him in this show, but the Yankee bats, 2 runs, 6 hits, 6 walks, no home runs, 9 strikeouts, and they were 1 for 7. So, not a good night for the Yankees' only win when they hit homers, people. I think that's something that, not to go back to that, but like people only notice it when the Yankees don't win versus when they do win. It's one of those things. But it was also another game where the Yankees came from behind to win, which you like seeing that early on. That's becoming a theme this year. Bottom of the 6th inning, they're down 2-0. Aaron Judge with a leadoff base hit. Jazz and Volpe with 2-out walks. That loads the bases. Wacha gets pulled. Serpa comes in. Wells picks up a 4-pitch RBI walk to put the Yankees, or to cut the deficit to 1. And then Dominguez from the right side of the plate, we'll talk about that, picks up a bases clearing double. It's a four-seamer coming in, puts the Yankees up 4-2. He goes 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a double in the game. The Yankees lose this game if he doesn't come through there. I definitely think that. It was a huge hit for him and for the team. We will talk more on Dominguez in this episode. So Waka goes 5 2/3, allows 3 runs there. And then the pen, 1 run in 2/3 of an inning. Judge goes 2 for 3 with a walk. Volpe goes 1 for 3, walk and a stolen base. Luke Weaver, good once again. Enters the game with 2 outs for Max Fried. I thought that was a good move by Boone. Let's go to our best reliever. He gets Garcia to ground out on a changeup. Goes back out there, top of the 8th. And he's 1-2-3 against Kansas City's 2-3-4 hitters. So ends up with a line of an inning and a third, no runs, no base runners, and a strikeout. Devin Williams picks up his first 1-2-3 frame as a Yankee. That was nice. Top of the 9th inning. Massey hits a long fly out to Judge. That was like a scare. Just missed, but he then gets Renfroe to ground out on, Renfroe grounds out on 7 pitches. And then MJ Melendez strikes out swinging on a screwball low and away. So Williams' final line in the Tuesday game, 1 inning, no runs, no base runners, 1 strikeout, and he gets the save. So the Yankees win 4-2. Max Fried gets the win. Today, Game 3, the final game of the series. The Yankees on Wednesday sweep the Royals 4-3. You had Clark Schmidt against the lefty Bubic. The Yankee bats score 4 runs on 8 hits, 4 extra base hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. They were 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Bottom of the 3rd inning, the Yanks are down 1-0. Volpe picks up a 2-run double, 92-mile-an-hour four-seamer coming in. Love to see that. He pulled the inside pitch to left field. He pulls it in the air. That's what we've been pressing on Volpe ever since the offseason. I want to see him pull the ball in the air. Use that real estate in left field because your speed is going to turn singles into doubles and doubles into triples. We want to see Volpe pull it. We don't want to see him slap it to right field. At least I don't. You get those inside pitches, pull those. He does that, puts the Yanks up 2-1. Bottom of the 4th inning, Bellinger picks up an RBI double to make it 3-1. Royals end up tying the game, but bottom of the 7th, with the game tied, Aaron Judge steps up, hasn't homered in 10 or 11 games. Solo bomb to right center field. It's off of a bad sinker. Puts the Yankees up 4-3. Huge hit. So the Yankees get 3 on Bubic in 5 1/3, and then 1 more on the bullpen in 2 2/3. Judge goes 3 for 3, double, walk, homer. Jazz goes 1 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Goldie goes 1 for 3 with a walk. Clark Schmidt made his return in this game. 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, 73 pitches in the no decision. I thought he looked fine, man. He looked pretty good. He had no feel for his breaking ball early, so he got off to a slow start, but then he found the rhythm for a few innings, got hit a little bit later at the end, but he ends up going damn near 6 innings in a start where he was limited to 70 pitches, so that's good. He was hit a little hard, didn't get a ton of swing and miss or strikeouts, but I thought he got the job done. I thought lefties were pretty good. He was pretty good against lefties. They were only 2 for 8 on Clark in this game, so that's, obviously something he's built on last year. He was better against left-handed hitting. And yeah, the 5th inning, he left the cutter up in the zone for a triple. There were a couple of moments where, after that triple, the Yankees play the infield back. I thought they should have been playing the infield in there with a tie game. Whatever. I don't know what the score was at that point. I think it tied the game. But whatever. That was the only gripe I had about that. But I thought Clark Schmidt looked fine in his performance, and he's going to play a big role. I wrote an article about Clark Schmidt on my website, BD4blog.com. Go check it out. It's called The Enigma of Clark Schmidt. I also recently shared it on my Instagram story. It's on my page as well, so go check that out at BD4Pod on Instagram. But yeah, Clark Schmidt is going to play a big role if he's healthy. I think he's got the upside to become a really solid number 3 starter for this rotation behind Fried and Rodon. Mark Leiter pitches first in relief. He was excellent. An inning and a third, no base runners, 2 strikeouts. Fernando Cruz was outstanding. He gets the save. Bellinger also saves the day there at the end with the ball that was hit to right field, dives on it, makes the play, shows the Yankee dugout he's got the ball, embraces the fans. It was a cool moment. But that's where I want to tip my cap to Nelson Cruz. Jeez. To Fernando Cruz. So we'll start there. Tipping my cap to Fernando Cruz because this guy, he's looked really good for them all year. But in this series, Fernando Cruz goes 3 1/3 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts, 1 single, 1 walk, throws 47 pitches, picks up a hold, and he picks up his first career save tonight. That's what he did in 2 games this series. He pitched in the first game of the set, and he pitched in the third game of the set tonight. So that's his second tip of the cap this year. On Monday, he comes into the game. He relieves Carlos Carrasco in the top of the 6th inning with a 4-1 lead. He gets Bobby Witt to strike out swinging on 2 forkballs in a row. He gets Vinny Pasquantino to strike out swinging on a forkball below the zone. Comes back out for the 7th inning. Gets Salvi Perez to strike out swinging. Forkball below the zone. He makes him look silly. His final line on Monday, an inning and a third, no runs, no base runners. Tonight, top of the 8th inning, he comes in to relieve Mark Leiter Jr., goes 1-2-3. He gets Kyle Isbell to strike out looking. 4 consecutive forkballs to him. Throws the final one high up in the zone. Kind of freezes Isbell. Gets Bobby Witt Jr. to strike out swinging at a forkball in the dirt. He goes 5 consecutive. Swings at 4 of them, Witt does. And Witt is a very difficult player to get out, let alone strike out and make him look silly when he does. Cruz made it look easy. It was really impressive. And he comes back out for the top of the 9th inning to get the save in a 1-run game still. I didn't love the move. I was actually hoping they would go to Hamilton. And I didn't love that Boone kept him in there after allowing the walk, but it ended up paying off, right? He gives up the leadoff base hit to Pasquantino, does roll 2 with the Perez ground ball double play, walks Garcia on a bunch of sinkers and sliders, so he puts 2 on with 2 outs. I thought he should have been pulled for, if you want to go lefty on lefty, I guess Yarbrough there, but ends up getting Melendez, the lefty, to line out to Cody Bellinger. That's when Bellinger makes that catch. It was a forkball low and out. So he gets the job done, right? He didn't even have feel for his forkball tonight. He left a few up that weren't. I don't even know if some of those were intentional, but it was still effective because obviously the pitch has excellent break. But I think what makes it really effective outside the break is the difference in velocity. That makes it incredibly difficult to hit. It's going to keep hitters off balance, right? His forkball is about 14 miles an hour slower than his four-seam fastball. It's also about 7 miles an hour slower than the league average splitter for a right-handed pitcher. So it's a deceptive pitch, and when you combine it with the arm slot that he throws it out of, it is incredibly tough to hit, and that's why he's been off to such a nice start. He's not allowed a run in 6 of his 8 appearances. He's not allowed an earned run in 7 appearances of those 8. He has a 2.79 ERA with a 42% K rate, which is hilarious. The league average for K rate, I believe, is around 23%. So the man is damn near doubling that number. And it won't always be this pretty. He's an inconsistent pitcher. The four-seamer, the sinker, the slider have been up and down for him. And overall, he's just not a high velo arm. But I think with this coaching staff the Yankees have, with how they handle relief pitching with Blake, I still think the Yankees can get a career season from Fernando Cruz. I think that's possible. He's not had a ton of experience in the big leagues, but he's an older veteran. I think he can find something here. The guy's splitter is just filthy. Forkball, whatever you want to call it. It's a filthy friggin' pitch. So I'm tipping my cap to him. And the pitching staff as a whole, man, they're really starting to put things together. Just the bullpen's solidifying into what I think will become one of the best, if not the best, at least in the American League. In their last 5 games, 17 innings, 3 runs, no earned runs, which obviously is a 0.00 ERA. Fernando Cruz found it. Mark Leiter Jr., he's found it, right? The Yankees are showing that they're trusting him in these high leverage spots now. He is not allowed a run in 7 of his 9 appearances. He's not allowed an earned run in 8 of those 9 appearances, 6 in a row. His ERA is down to 3.52. He's got a 38% K rate. Weaver hasn't allowed a run all year, knock on wood. He's been excellent despite the velo not being there yet. Devin Williams, slow start to the year. You're seeing him start to put it together, stringing together a couple of really good outings. Tim Hill remains solid. Ian Hamilton's back. We'll see how that works. He's had some ups and downs so far, but the main guys in the bullpen are finding their rhythm here over the last week and a half, and it's looking really good. Now, overall, the bullpen has jumped up to 7th in ERA, which was not the case before the San Francisco series. They're first in K per 9. They're first in K rate. They got a stable of guys with filthy off speed who get whiffs, who get chase, splitters, forkballs, screwballs, changeups, sweepers, curveballs, etc. They've got filthy off speed pitchers, specialists, right? Yes, because of that, they will walk a lot of guys, right? They are 3rd in walks per 9 in terms of most to least. But at the same time, because they got such nasty breaking balls, they're 1st in batting average against. So they don't get hit, knock on wood. They're also up to 7th in WAR entering tonight, the bullpen is. So I'm expecting all these numbers to go up even more, too, because I do think it's a talented bullpen. And the rotation is starting to stabilize a little bit. Now, it's the Kansas City lineup is bottom of the league right now in terms of production offensively, but this series they did go 17 in the 3rd innings, 6 earned runs to a 3.12 ERA. Carrasco looked good. Fried looked excellent. We'll talk about him in 2 seconds. Schmidt was good in his first start today. It's nice to have Clark back. Not going to have Stroman around anymore. That's a positive. They're obviously taking it slow with Luis Seal, but no true bad news yet. And yeah, Max Fried is on a tear right now. And so that is where I'm going to pivot to. And I'm going to tip my cap to... Was I on fucking Cruz this whole time? Jesus. I'm going to tip my cap to Max Fried. Because he's really starting to put things together, folks. It wasn't like that at first. But, he hasn't had a bad outing yet. Even the first couple of ones, he still produced good enough outings to keep the Yankees in the game, and they're winning on Max Fried days. And on Tuesday, he goes 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits, a couple of walks, strikes out 7, allows 1 home run, throws 94 pitches, and he gets the win. He's starting to pitch like he's being paid to pitch, and it's fun to watch. I thought in this game, the 2-seamer played, the slider was effective, the 4-seam was solid. The 2-seamer plays well, front hip to righties. The slider got a lot of whiffs. The four-seamer, the Royals were 2 for 11 on it. Did make 2 mistakes. Top of the third, Melendez hits the solo home run, 94 middle out. And then Bobby Witt with a 2-out RBI double, 94 middle, 2-0 Royals. But other than that, he was fine. Curveball. The curveball is an interesting pitch so far because it's getting slugged so far. In this game, Garcia singled off it and Salvi doubled off of it. On the year, the curveball has a 632 slugging and a 488 expected slug. But, I mean, history says those numbers are going to straighten out. It's way too good of a pitch. The spin on it is tight. The break on it is incredible. It's got such a good 12-6 drop. It is arguably the best lefty curveball in the game. The swing and miss remains there. He got 63% swing and miss in this game, 50% on the season. Continues to drop it in for strikes, right? He'll go backdoor to righties with it. Overall, I think the curveball will be fine. Couple of hangers early in the year, but those numbers are indicative of how good of a pitch it is. So Max Fried, his pitch mix has been different this year. He's been going less curve and more sinker. And there's been an uptick in slider, sweeper, and less changeup. So I'm interested to see how that shapes up going forward. But Max Fried, off to a hot start as a Yankee. He's already got 3 cap tips on the year. And as a Yankee, 3-0, 1.88 ERA, 24 innings, 28 strikeouts. Just continuing to really look good here in the early on. And while we're tipping our cap, let's tip our cap to the captain. Aaron Judge, man. My goodness, is this guy on a tear. In this series alone, Aaron Judge goes 7 for 10, a 700 batting average in this series. A 1629 OPS, a double, home run, RBI, 2 walks, 3 runs scored, 11 total bases. The guy is on an absolute tear. And then you look at his season numbers, they are video game numbers at its finest. He's batting across 18 games this year. Aaron Judge is batting .409 with a .519 on base percentage, an .803 slugging percentage, which means his OPS is standing at a pretty casual 1322. 5 doubles, 7 home runs, 21 RBIs in those 18 games, 13 walks, 17 strikeouts, which that's, I love seeing that. You know, you take that K rate, that's a K rate of 20% this year that he's got. That's better than average. League average, again, 23%. He's not even striking out. So he broke the homerless streak tonight. Even when he wasn't hitting those homers, the dude was consistently racking up multi-hit games. He's an incredible hitter to watch. He is mashing this year. He's destroying relief pitching. You know, guys that come in only have 2 pitches, so they can't really show him the breaking pitch until later in the at-bat. So he'll jump fastball and pound it into the friggin' bleachers. I mean, it's been incredible watching Aaron Judge start this season so hot. And if he continues this, he might even have a better season than he did last year, and he might even break his own home run record. So Aaron Judge, obviously I'm tipping my cap to him. His second of the season continues to absolutely rake. Now, I want to talk about another Yankee outfielder, because I think Jason Dominguez is starting to get comfortable, folks. Jason Dominguez entering tonight, I don't know where the numbers are now because he was 0 for with a walk, but entering tonight he was 275 with an OPS a little below 800. Starting to get comfortable with the bat. You saw the bat speed in this series, right? Bottom of the 6th inning on Tuesday. Big 3-run double, 96 in on the hands with 2 strikes. Gets his hands in, and he lines it to the pull side from the right side of the plate. You could tell that's his weaker side because he had that Andujar type swing where he hits his head on the backswing. Helmet flies in front of his damn face as he's running out of the box. But the bat speed's legit. it's going to result in a lot of those hits down the line. And then bottom of the second, you go back a little bit, hitting breaking balls, right? His single to right field that he picks up, it's a first pitch curveball from Mike Wacha below the zone. That was a good sign to me because this guy early in his career has been a dead red fastball hitter so far. So to see that happen, and he's been adequate against off speed and breaking this year. He's struggling against breaking balls, but off speed pitches, he's actually been pretty decent on this year. So that's something I'm going to watch. But the fact that he did hit the breaking ball, he hit the curveball in this game, or in Tuesday's game, that was a good sight to see. So the bat's starting to come around a little bit. The defense on Monday looking really good in left field, right? Now, he still continues to sit late in the games. For defensive replacement reasons. And it's interesting, because it all kind of started last season. Verdugo was given the role all year over their top prospect because of defense. But then this spring, they come out saying, well, we trust Dominguez's defense. We have the utmost faith. And now he's consistently being pulled late in games. Now, I know that he lost his contacts on Tuesday. I don't think that would have changed anything. I still think he would have been pulled. And doing this, he is losing an at-bat per game, and if you are trying to develop him from the right side of the plate, that's also not helping. It's creating lefty lanes for opposing managers to go to their left-handed relievers. And I don't know, is it the way to build confidence in a young player for an organization that says they have confidence in him? It's hard to know that without being Jason. For a kid like him, if he has a big night at the plate or a nice night defensively, by removing him, you're not really letting him go back out there in left field in front of all the Yankees fans and getting embraced like that. Because the defense has felt fine overall, at least with the eye test. Any bad routes that he's made are made up for with his athleticism. He's a fast dude. And he's also got a very strong arm. We haven't seen much of it yet, but small sample, the early metrics are backing it up. He's 60th in fielding run value. He's 52nd in range, outs above average. And he's 73rd in arm run value. So he's been an above average left fielder so far by the metrics. Small sample, they can be skewed. But I don't feel like he's been bad at all out there. Now, the other side of the whole Dominguez being pulled late in games thing, I understand it. Boone wants to use his entire roster this year. That's something he didn't really optimize last year. Grisham's playing very well. He wants to keep him active. He wants to continue to give him reps because he's hot. And he's really good in the outfield. I'm curious to see what happens as we go deeper into the season. If the Yankees are in tight games against teams they need to be beating in the division, what happens if it's a 2-2 game in the 8th inning? What are you going to value? Are you going to value the sure thing defensively? Are you going to value the offense? I just don't want it to get to a point where we have a crucial game in September, and it's a situation like that. It's a tie game in the 8th inning, and you're throwing Dominguez out there, but you're nervous because he doesn't have many reps, or God forbid that's in a playoff game. So I do hope that he eventually gets more reps and this stops, but you can also at the moment counter the whole you need to give him confidence argument with we're building up his confidence right now by making him feel like he's earning it. That's when he does get to a point where he's going to finish games for the Yankees, he'll feel like he earned it, right? That's kind of the confidence boost that you would get on the flip side, and he's being strict with the youth. That's, I've criticized, hammered Boone before for being soft with his players. I don't want to come across as hypocritical in a situation like this. I'm trying to understand. Yeah, you want these guys to earn it a little bit. I still, at some point soon, I would like to see Dominguez start finishing games. But yeah, the defense has been good, and again, the bat, it's fun. It's fun watching this dude at the plate. Every year, I get the lineup notifications every game on my phone. Every year, there's always one guy I look for. My eyes just go to one guy to see if he's in the lineup every single day. I'm finding that guy to be Dominguez this year. I go directly to the 6-7 spot and see if he's there, and then I go yes if he's in there, and I scream a big loud FUCK if he's not. But the fact that he's been consistently playing, it's making me happy in the pregame, and I go into these games excited, waiting for that 6 spot to come up in the order, 7 spot, whatever it is, and I just love watching him because he's exciting. He's an exciting player to watch, and eventually, I think if he's healthy and he plays a full season, he's going to become, if not this year, a perennial 850 OPS bat. I really believe that. I think he is consistently providing value to this team because of his well-roundedness. He's constantly finding gaps with ground balls to sneak through right now. Base hits to left, base hits to right. The power is going to come. I know that's not really there right now. You want to see him hit the ball in the air more. He is hitting the ball on the ground more than in the air. So that's the one thing I haven't really dived deep into yet. And maybe if it gets to a point where we will need to, we will. But right now, the biggest concern of mine is how he looks from the right side of the plate, right? Now, over the course of his professional career, since he's been in pro ball in 2021 up until now, his career numbers through 368 at-bats, 424 plate appearances, 212 batting average as a righty, 313 on base percentage, 339 slug, 652 OPS. He's got a 13% walk rate and a K rate of just about 30%, a little less. So he displays a good eye and he walks. He's pretty selective. So that's good. To have an on base that's 101 points higher than your average, despite not being good from that side of the plate, is good. But the power and the consistency, the contact is definitely lacking from the right side of the plate. But to be honest, when I went and looked up those numbers, that's not as bad as I thought it was. They're not good by any stretch of the mean, but those numbers show, again, the discipline there shows that maybe he can improve with more reps. He's only 22. But the at-bats tonight from the right side, you had some uncompetitive strikeouts in there. The first 2 strikeouts of his night were really ugly. But yeah, I'm not, I'll take it back a little bit. I think we've said before on the show how I want him to just give up switch hitting. Maybe that was far. Maybe just give him some time. You don't need this guy to be elite from the right side, because I think he'll be elite from the left side. You just need him to be average from the right side. Can he become that? We'll see. We'll definitely see. But yeah, he's a well-rounded player. And my God, is it nice to have such a well-rounded athletic team? That's the one thing I'm like. Dominguez on Monday, top of the 4th inning in left field, he sprints back near the warning track to make a nice play. Top of the 5th inning, he makes a nice play coming in for a catch near foul territory. Top of the 6th inning, he makes a nice play going back on a hard liner to make the play. Like, he's been really good out there. of late. And Bellinger tonight saves the damn game in left field with a tying runner rounding the bases. The speed that the Yankees have. There's no true negatives. Yeah, there are no true negatives in either the infield or the outfield. Judge has been really good back in right field. Bellinger's versatility is allowing so much out there. Between Grisham and Martian, it's allowing Judge to get off his feet on days like tonight. It's in the second half, I'm sure he's going to allow Goldschmidt off his feet a little bit, be able to play first base. Grisham is excellent out there on fly balls. Dominguez, Volpe's making great plays. Jazz up the middle. He's been excellent at second base. You had Wells to Volpe tonight, that throw out that caught stealing on Garcia. He was trying to steal second base. Wells throws it right to Volpe's glove, smacks him in the face, gets the out. Goldie's been strong on first base. The defense has been there, and they've been great on the bases. How many times this year have we seen guys go first to third, second to home, as opposed to just going station to station? Guys are taking extra bases. Dominguez, Cabrera runs well. You're getting sneaky speed from Ben Rice. Even Goldie today breaks up a double play with a creative route to second base. That's stuff we don't see. It's not just the stolen bases. They're stealing bases. They're 14th in stolen bases for an analytically driven team that relies on the home run and doesn't want to steal because of that. That's not bad to be 14th. They're 5th in speed score. So they're significantly better fundamentally. And that was the number one issue in the postseason and the World Series for the Yankees last year and the regular season for the Yankees last year. So that's what I want to end on. It's such a positive to have an athletic group out there. And I think people need to really start appreciating that. It's a baseball team. There you go. So with that said, folks, we're going to head to a break. We'll get back and we'll wrap it up by talking about who's up next for the Yankees, and then we'll get to our trivia. Stay with us here on BD4. We'll be right back. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune in to our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, welcome back to episode 847 of the podcast. The Yanks sweep the Royals in the Bronx. 3-0 sweep this series at the stadium. Up next for the Bombers, they've got the 8-10, fourth place at the moment, Tampa Bay Rays, or, George Steinbrenner's Rays. I don't know where they're exactly playing. Where is Steinbrenner Field? Is that in Tampa? I don't think it's in Tampa. But they're going to their second home, the Yankees will be. So they got 3 games at Steinbrenner to play the Rays. The first game of the set's tomorrow. It's Will Warren against Bradley. Then you got Rodon versus Rasmussen. And then it's Carrasco versus Baz. The Rays, again, they're off to a slow start this year. They're not doing a ton. Their offense is actually not terrible. I'm looking it up right now. They're 10th in runs scored. Let's see where they are in OPS. They're 7th in OPS. They are 9th in slug, and on base wise, they're 7th. So yeah, their OPS is good because they're pretty balanced there. So it's got to be their pitching. If their offense is there, no, they're 6th in ERA. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's their rotation, maybe it's their pen, but I don't know. The Rays are off to an 8-10 start, so we'll see what's going on. I don't know too much about what's going on over there with that team. Obviously, they lost some guys, but to trade and free agency over the last year. But 3 games at Steinbrenner should be interesting. That'll be a fun one. Maybe since the last time Cody Bellinger, raked. It was in the spring training. Maybe he'll wake up this series with the bat too. And if he does, he'll become their second most valuable player because of what he brings on the other end. So maybe it's a good series for him, get him back in warm weather. That's my pick to go off in this next series, Cody Bellinger. But that's it. The Rays are up next for 3 at Steinbrenner. And with that said, we're going to wrap it up with our trivia question right now. Okay, so in this episode, in episode 847 here, our trivia question: what year did the Yankees and Royals last face off in the playoffs prior to 2024? What year did the Yankees and Royals last face off in the playoffs prior to 2024? So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. That's it. That's all we got here for episode 847 of the podcast. Yanks Royals. The Yanks sweep the Royals in the BX. Got the Tampa Rays next. So we'll see what happens there. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Sorry about the audio issues in this episode. Hopefully it sounds decent enough to get through it. And if you did stick through to the end, I really, 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 as always, appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.